Recently, several clothes brands like H&M and Nike have refuted use of Xinjiang cotton and spread rumor about Xinjiang. In this video, I'm going to show you statistics and videos of real Xinjiang. So, rumor number 1, breach of human rights and re-education. Let's first see the Chinese constitutional law. In the Article 4 of Chinese Constitution, it is written that all nationalities in the People's Republic of China are equal. The state protects the lawful rights and interests of the minority nationalities and upholds and develops a relationship of equality, unity, and mutual assistance among all of China's nationalities. Discrimination against and oppression of any nationality are prohibited. Any act which undermines the unity of the nationalities or instigates division is prohibited. The state assists areas inhabited by minority nationalities in accelerating their economic and cultural development according to the characteristics and needs of the various minority nationalities. Regional autonomy is practiced in areas where people of minority nationalities live in concentrated communities. In these areas, organs of self-government are established to exercise the power of autonomy. All national autonomous areas are integral parts of the People's Republic of China. All nationalities have the freedom to use and develop their own spoken and written language, and to preserve or reform their own folkways and customs. So it is written in Chinese constitutional law that it is every citizen's fundamental duty that we preserve unity and solidarity of all ethnic groups, of all Chinese nationals. Now we see the demographic growth. The statistics is from the Official Statistic Bureau of Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region of China. From this chart, we can see that genocide is merely a rumor. The population of all ethnic groups have expanded since the establishment of People's Republic of China. It should be noted here that in 1982, China applies family planning, and this fundamental national policy has changed the demographic growth rate. So since family planning, the population growth rate have declined in all parts of China. We can take a brief look at Xinjiang's economy conditions. I'm going to show you a graph which talks about private sector economy. You can see in this graph that the private sector economy have grown steadily over the years. So I'm just going to translate the second point, which is the development of private sector in Xinjiang. So private corporations play an important role in the growth of economy. Since the founding of the People's Republic of China in the last 70 years, the Chinese Communist Party's Party Committee and People's Government have increased their support to the private sector economy and has led to increasing output of private corporations. From the view of the total amount, since the economic reform and open up of China in 1978, the private sector economy has accelerated its growth in Xinjiang, reaching 56.6 billion Chinese yuan, weighting 21.7% of regional GDP in Xinjiang. In 2009, the economic capacity of private sector economy for the first time peaked over 1 trillion Chinese yuan, weighting 24.6% of regional GDP in Xinjiang. In 2017, the private sector economy increased by 3.5 trillion Chinese yuan, weighting regional GDP up to 32.2% in Xinjiang. The private sector indeed has become an important driver for economic growth in Xinjiang, and it's obvious that Xinjiang has accelerated its economic growth due to the support of government policies. The so-called re-education is the vocational education and training center, where people learn Mandarin Chinese, vocational skills, and Chinese law. The aim of this institution is to eliminate extremism and fight terrorism. The fight against terrorism is never targeted at Muslim or any ethnic groups. There has never been forced labor or breach of human rights in Xinjiang. There is an official documentary of China's fight against terrorism and introduction of the people's lives in Xinjiang and introduction of the vocational education and training center. So rumor number 2 is forced labor. As you can see from this graph, that nowadays, mass automation is used in cotton harvest in Xinjiang. Machines are used intensively instead of human labor. When I searched 新疆人工采棉 or Xinjiang's manual cotton pick, so here I did not search automation directly to avoid partiality. There has been reports early in 2018 or even 2013 on coverage of automation in Xinjiang's cotton industry. As nowadays, cotton industry in Xinjiang have applied mass automation and reduced enormously labor. It used machine intensively instead of human labor. A simple real-side research could bring out the truth. Yet all the brands forged and spread ungrounded rumors. And I want to ask BCI and all the brands that threw ungrounded accusations on Xinjiang cotton, who is really inhumane here? The brands using rumor to hurt farmers, or China defends the truth and dignity? Here I want to say a bit about Xinjiang's agricultural industry. So due to the unique climate in Xinjiang, Xinjiang has long exposure to sunlight and large temperature difference between day and night. This large temperature difference will reduce fruits' respiratory and minimize the loss of nutritious substances. And also, Xinjiang has this dry climate as well as sufficient source of water. Therefore, Xinjiang is not only suitable and prominent for its cotton quality, but also the sweet and large fruits like cantaloupe, pomegranate, Kuala fragrant pear, fig, and grapes. The last thing I want to say as a normal Chinese citizen is that the solidarity of all ethnic groups in China is what makes Chinese society a prosperous, tolerant, diversified, long-lived, and beautiful one. And you're always welcome to visit China.